Good thing, getting Krebs to come to the show. We're going to shit on Paris. Good. So, put your hands together for your first comic of the evening. It's Mike from the United States of America!
The best introduction ever. Mike from the United States of America. How's everyone doing? Good? Awesome. So I am here in Paris because of work, and I'm only here for 6 months. So I was talking to one of my friends, and they asked me, "Oh, Mike, could you see yourself living in France long term?" And I said, "No, not at all, never." And they were shocked at how, negative I was. They were like, "Wait, why not?" And I said, "Oh, I just can't see myself living in a country that doesn't win the Olympics every time." And they said, "Well, you can't win the Olympics." And I said, well, maybe France can't, but America finds a way to do it almost every time. But no, France is great, but when I was coming here, I was very nervous. I was nervous that people were going to be really mean to me, because in America, there's a very big stereotype that Parisian people don't like obnoxious Americans that don't speak French, a description which fits me perfectly. So I was very scared, but I was pleasantly surprised that most people are actually pretty nice. What I was not told is that French pigeons are assholes. They are the meanest beings in the entire earth. And I saw it when I was walking out of the metro, like my first day here. There was a pigeon that just flies full speed into this guy just sitting outside of a cafe, having a glass of wine. Just flies right into his face, and then floats back a little bit, gets like right eye to eye with him, squawks at him in French, I assume, and then flies away angrily like it was his fault. So that was ridiculous. The only time I've noticed French people are really mean is when they're speaking English and they accidentally insult people. Because when you don't speak a language, it's kind of hard to sugarcoat things. You can't really put things nicely. So I was in a work meeting, and they were trying to decide who should lead this presentation that they were going to give. And one guy suggested this guy by the name of Alexi. And someone else stood up, and they were saying, "No, I don't think Alexi should do it." And what he tried to say was, because Alexi can talk a lot, and he might not fit all of the material into the hour. What he actually said was, "I don't think Alexi should do it because once he starts talking, how you say, he never shuts up." And I was so shocked. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you just said that." But everyone else in the meeting was just like, "Oh yeah, right, totally, good point. Alexi does never shut up. Why would we ever suggest it?" And I also noticed this when I was playing basketball. I was playing basketball in France, and someone called a foul on me, which they love to do. And they called a foul, and I was trying to argue with this guy that he is ridiculous, and it was the worst call I've ever seen in my life. I have no bias in it, it was just a fact. And what he tried to say to me was, "Hey, when we play basketball, we don't argue, you just accept the call and you move on." But what he ended up saying was, "One rule, don't speak," which was way better, and he should have gone with that first. So that's pretty interesting. But food is something, it's delicious here. I love how good the food tastes. I hate how tiny the portion sizes are. It is absolutely ridiculous how small all the food is. And I didn't learn this until I went to the cafeteria at work. And they have the thing where, you can pick multiple different things and then you go check out. So there's a little pasta dish, I grab a pasta dish. They have a little meat pie, so I grab a meat pie. There's a salad bar, so I make a little salad. They have a bowl of fruit, so I grab a banana. And then they have a dessert thing, and I grab a yogurt. So look, I have all the food groups represented. The food pyramid's all there. My mom would be really happy with me. I would get an A+ in kindergarten. Everything would be fine. I go sit down at the table with all my French coworkers, and they all look at me very strange, and there's a big awkward silence, and then one finally turns to me and goes, "Oh, you got 2 meals." And I was like, 2 meals? I don't even know if this is enough for one. Fun fact, it wasn't. I was hungry like an hour later. The other thing that's really weird about French food is supermarkets here. They're very tiny as well. And I went to Franprix, which according to Google Maps was a supermarché, and I was like, "Oh, okay, supermarché. I don't speak French, but that has to be French for supermarket." Fun fact, supermarché is French for really tiny convenience store posing as a grocery store. Super small. So I complained about this to my French friend, and he told me, "Oh, you should go to this place called Auchan. It's an enormous grocery store." So I went to Auchan, and it's like average size, but it was a great step up from Franprix. So I go to Auchan, and it was very French because there are 8 cheese aisles but they're not next to each other. So you walk in and there's a cheese aisle, and I was like, this makes sense. The first aisle would be cheese. I'm in France. And then I pass like the cereal, and then the crackers, and the cookies, and then the smelly cheese aisle, which is like only camembert and stuff like that. And then you pass like a wine aisle, and then another wine aisle, and then another wine aisle. And then there's 2 more cheese aisles, and then there's a shredded cheese aisle, which says rape really big on it, because the French word for cheese is râpé. Couldn't we have gone with anything else, guys? But then I go to check out, and I was putting my stuff down, and some lady comes up to me, points to her stomach, says something in French, which I replied with my favorite French sentence, which is, "Oh, désolé, je ne parle pas français," which I think means sorry, I don't speak French. I hope it does, because I say it all the time. And then she just nods and starts putting her food down in front of me anyway. And I was really confused, because I didn't think that's how grocery stores work anywhere. But as she puts the food down, I see that she's pregnant. And I was like, oh, that's why she pointed to her stomach. But then I was like, I don't know if I still would have let her cut me had I known that this was why she's doing this. But I was like, fine, whatever. It can't be fun to carry a human for 9 months, so you can go and put your food in front of me. But then her 2 kids come up as well, and they're like 8 and 10, so they're like able to carry things, so I don't know why she has to cut me. But they also came with like a basket, so they have a lot of stuff. And I was like, all right, fine, you know, it can't be fun to carry a human and deal with 2 small children. You can do it, whatever. But then her husband comes, a fully grown human being, with another basket and a lot of things in it. And I was like, okay, wait a second. So you have a small army of human beings that are all capable of carrying food, but you didn't say, hey guys, I'm gonna go sit on this bench outside of the grocery store. How about you guys go grocery shopping because I'm pregnant and I shouldn't be walking around? Instead, she was like, hey guys, wanna cut everyone in line? Send me in first and then everyone come after will be the worst ever. But the one thing that I do really love about Paris food is baguettes. Not only because they taste fantastic, but they're also really cheap by law, which is incredible. So a baguette traditionnelle is something that is always delicious, and it's never more than like €1.20. And I asked my friends about this, and they told me that it's actually a law that a baguette traditionnelle has to follow a specific recipe, and it can't be charged more than a certain price, which is amazing. And then my French friend told me that that is like one of the earliest laws in the entire French history. I was like, this is amazing. I just imagine that they have the French Revolution, and they're sitting down, they're like, all right, guys, we need to write a bunch of laws. What should we tackle first? Voting rights, equality, taxes, and then some drunk guy in the back was just like, no! You should make sure that bread tastes good and it doesn't cost a lot. And then everyone's like, oh my God, Francois, you're a genius. But yeah, thank you guys so much. That's all my time. But welcome to the stage. Our next comedian. He's French and has a very French name. I'm going to butcher it. It's Urban. Welcome, Urban.
Thanks a lot. Make some noise, guys. Come on. So I know I'm French. I thought I shouldn't be here. I'm like the enemy. But I hate Paris too.